Moors, good morning and happy holy day on this day of Tahuti, Thoth, Mercury, and peace and love to everyone. And this is very informal. I'm doing a selfie. I haven't done selfies in a while, but Moors, we kind of look at it this way. When you're on this page, what I share with you is going to be out of the norm. So that is basically for people who are thinking outside of the box. That's all. And as I don't even know how else to say it other than we're all on this journey together. So obviously, if we have crossed paths, then something was going on in the universe to make that happen. But what you see on my page is a culmination of different things that have happened in my life and different things that are happening now today. When you know, people say that, they believe in this, they believe in that, they have, they're members of this organization, that organization, whatever. And all these different belief systems and all that are based on information, be it dogma or whatever, but they got the bits and pieces of their knowledge out of the ancient mystery schools that came out of that. So when you talk about anything metaphysical and you're talking about anything esoteric and all that, you're delving into stuff that is outside of the norm. So most people are not going to really grasp that because they have to be thinkers. They have to be people that are willing to learn and study. You have to. Noble Drew Ali was totally esoteric. Charles Mosley Bay was totally esoteric. Pharaoh Akhenaten was totally esoteric. They delved into things that was outside of the norm. It wasn't something you could just click on your TV and you're going to learn from that. It's knowledge that is outside of the box. So they were thinkers, they were learners, they were doers. They actually took in knowledge out of the cosmos. That's what the Clocks of Destiny is all about. I don't know how else to tell you folks, but that's what that is. So when I get, feedback from everyone, I appreciate the feedback that I get, be it good or bad, or, positive or negative. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to stay on my journey either way. But when I get feedback like that, to say, well, what is this you're talking about? I don't understand it, whatever. That's why, because you're not ready. I said my journey is going to be different than most Moors. Don't put me in the same classification as most Moors. Don't do that. Most Moors are stuck in dogma. Most Moors came out of Christianity and went into the temples, and they went out of the frying pan into the fire. And there would be those that will get offended. Very few Moors in Moor Science People of America are thinking outside of the box. Very few. That's why people don't go to the temples. The tsunami of truth is leading all the newcomers that are coming into the planet, that are being born today. They're not interested in dogma. They're not interested in ritual. They're not interested in all that. They don't even know why they're not interested, but they just know they're not interested in it. Why? Because the times are changing. As above, so below. It's already changed in the cosmos. Now it's time for it to change down here. We're in the center. This planet Earth is the center of everything in the cosmos. Regardless of how big or small the planet is, everybody came to this planet to make things happen for whatever reason that they got here. But whatever happens up there happens down here. Whatever happens down here happens up there. As above, so below. The law of correspondence, which is immutable and cannot be changed. So when you study these things and you're aware of these principles, then you know. And this is why I say what I say. What I said, I've got too many people on my friends list. Social media, don't take it for granted. It's a very powerful tool. So, I'm able to reach out and share my journey with people from all over the world. That's a big deal. And like now, I woke up this morning and I do my norm, read my emails, check my page, whatever people write to me. I try to write back to as many as I can. But I'm on the West Coast, and I some days I get up late, like today, and we got to understand, knowledge comes when it comes. But when you talk to the cosmos, you ask the cosmos, it's a living entity, it's cosmic mind, it's conscious energy. You're speaking to that. Words, thoughts, acts, what you do has power in it. So when you speak to the cosmos and you ask for knowledge, then come on. The cosmos is listening and you're going to receive. So, like I tell you many times, it's like a computer that's downloading. When I'm downloading from the cosmos, a lot of times I just got to shut down. So I'm not doing nothing. But, everything is energy. So if you're on my page, there's a reason why you're on my page. But if you're just kind of hanging out, you don't necessarily have to like what I post. You don't necessarily have to agree with what I post or share. You don't have to agree with that. But you must ask yourself, why am I on this page if I'm not interested? If I'm not, it's way over my head. It means absolutely nothing to me. I go to my church, I go to my temple, I go to whatever I do or whatever I'm into. I do that, and that's my preference, and anything else is irrelevant to me, whatever. Then why would you be on this page? Folks, I apologize. It starts every time I do a video, and I forget to lock it. But every time I do videos, here come the phone calls. I don't get no phone calls for hours. Phone starts ringing as soon as I start talking. But anyway, Moors, you got to know, this is really for those that are thinkers, that are willing to learn things that they may not know. Things that I share with you, you may be fully cognizant of. You may be aware of it. But, let's keep it real. Many are not. It's not something you're going to read in newspapers, not anything you're going to read, learn in school or in your places of worship or whatever. They're not going to go there. They're just not. So, we got to do what we got to do. And that's what I'm doing. I done been through the dogma. I done been through the military. I done the corporate world. I've done all of that. All of that. I'm 57 years old. I'm 3 years from 60. Yeah. So it took me this long to get to know the knowledge and apply the knowledge and be where I am today. That's why I take it so seriously. That's why I'm not in this to play. You can't play with this. This knowledge is the type of knowledge that when you talk about anything esoteric, it's stuff you don't see. It's things that are hidden. And much of it was shrouded in code. So you got to now decipher and dissect things that were written as knowledge to give to a person who seeks it. And you now have to break that down. There's no time for somebody on my social media page that's talking about getting laid, talking about nonsense. They're cussing each other out. Literally, this is the stuff that will pop up. Because when you accept a friend request, you're accepting that person's life into your life. Just like when you send me a friend request and I'm sharing knowledge with you, my thought is, let it be something a person can learn and utilize in their life to help them. They may be sick in their bodies. They may be suffering for whatever reason. They may be catching hell in their lives and in their relationships. So what information can I put out there? Anytime you talk about natural law, that's going to help a person. Whether they realize it or not. You even start delving into natural law, it's going to help you. But most will not look at that. They'll look at those principles and say, oh, that's interesting. But they won't delve into it. Something within you has got to wake up. Something within you has got to say, wait a minute, what is this? What is he talking about? So if you're that type of person, you're in the right place. If it's just something so foreign to you, it doesn't make sense to you, and you're just kind of hanging out there because it just seems like the right thing to do or whatever, okay, I get that. But you got to be busy. This is not for people who just want to acquiesce and just kind of sit there complacent. This is not it. The time is not it. The universe is now spoken. The new covenant has been sealed. It is time for people to get busy. This is not the kind of thing where you sit there and just fold your arms and you're comfortable. And you're going to wait for change to happen. But you're not making changes in your life. You're still doing the same old nonsense you've always been doing. Ain't nothing changed for you. So you're still wrapped up in it. You got to be busy with mind first. You got to change that first. And what I mean by that is applying the law to your life. Apply the law to your life. That knowledge, once you take it in, anytime you touch on nationality, that is ancestral. When you talk about Ham and Cush, that's ancestral. The house of Pharaoh, that's ancestral. Yeah. Ruth the Moabite mother. The ancient Canaanites and Moabites. You're touching knowledge that is like antiquity. Lord Enki and all that. You tapping into all that. You touching into stuff that they tried to erase. Yeah. Atlantis, Lemuria, the Zodiac. Come on. Folks, it's not to insult anyone, really. It's not. But we have to be cognizant that there's a reason why they kept this knowledge away from you. And it was imperative that you know dogma, that you stay busy, that you get upset, that you get distracted, that, it's important that these things happen in your life so that you remain fodder, that you remain property and wards of the state. They don't want you knowing this information. Why do you think Noble Drew Ali lost his life? Why do you think they vilified Charles Mosley Bay? Why do you think they did that? Why was that important? Why was Noble Drew Ali such a threat? Why? Noble Drew Ali is a universal prophet. He is not the prophet only for the Moors. He said that. He said, I'm a universal prophet. That means universal. That means everybody. Everybody needed to hear that knowledge. Everybody. He just said, I just came to you Moors because you needed me the most. Yeah. But, like I said, my journey is different. I speak on Noble Drew Ali for nationality only. Nationality only. Because the ancient Canaanites and Moabites were a diverse people. They had many creeds, many, and they knew not of Allah, knew nothing, zero. The ancient Moabites and Canaanites did not know an Allah. They did not. The gods that we know today, they knew nothing of these gods. So you can learn about these contemporary ideas and concepts. That's fine if it helps you to know yourself. But know that is not ancient. It is contemporary. Long as you're aware of that, you're good. But it's not to put down anybody. And don't get so stuck in dogmatic belief. Stop protecting the gods. That's not your job. You're a reflection of the great I am, the creator, which is above the gods. All of them. Allah too. They try to put Allah as creator. They try to put Jehovah as creator and all that. All that stuff is contemporary. It is not written on the temples of Kemet. It did not come out of Atlantis and Lemuria. It did not. See, it shuts things down. And when a person gets murdered and killed like Noble Drew Ali, and they want to rewrite his work and add little tidbit stuff in to confuse people, see, you can only live in a lie but for so long. So by me saying that, I'm challenging the status quo because it's misleading the people. And it makes them defensive on something that they don't need to defend. Why you gotta defend the gods? Why? Because you need to be asking yourself why you're suffering. If you love the God so much, if the God is all powerful, and you're talking about the gods that you follow and worship are the creator, and you're a reflection of the creator, then why are you suffering? I want to know why most of y'all sick in your bodies. Because you're right to me. Tell me what's going on in your life. Yeah. So tell me, why are you suffering? Why are you struggling? Why? My father owns many mansions. What? You ain't got no place to live? And you're more? And Pharaoh gave you this? Your home? You never left home? Come on, folks. That's what I'm saying. We got work to do. You got to wake up. You wake up when you enact the law in your life. It's just that simple. It really is just that. It's not complicated. The universe is waiting on you. So why are you suffering? Do you enjoy suffering? Is it fun to suffer? Is it fun to be sick? Because that's what you're doing when you acquiesce. And you just sit there and just kind of complacent. You just kind of, oh, I'll wait for somebody else to save me. When we know in the real world, if a person, you can go to a restaurant and order some food to eat, and the server brings the plate to you while you're sitting at the table waiting for your food. But if you don't pick up the fork or the spoon or the knife to eat the food and put it in your mouth, then you wasted your time going to that restaurant, didn't you? So what are you doing? How's about what? That server's now got to cut the food for you, pick it up, aim it towards your mouth, but you still got to open your mouth to eat. They could even try to do that for you. That's when we enable people in this knowledge. When we just take them by the hand, we take baby steps, and we just baby them to death. You must make the effort. You must make the effort to learn. If you don't do that, you're still in the same place you were. You're stagnated. You ain't going nowhere because you're not willing to make the effort. You're saying this is too hard. It's too difficult. I can't do this. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Then you're in trouble. Because the world needs thinkers. The world needs people that think outside of the box. The world today needs those who will not acquiesce. So come on, people. What we doing? We got to get this thing right. Okay? So, but, I put out there and some, responded back, not negatively, but they were like, why is the number on your page important? Why are you paying attention to that? I'm paying attention to that because broad is the road leading to destruction. Narrow is the road that leads to eternal life. I know for a fact, since I've been on this journey, very few people are going to get what I'm saying. Very few. So I don't expect a lot of likes on my page. But the few that do pay attention, I know for a fact they're chosen. I know. Because to even tap into this type of knowledge, you got to be a thinker. You got to be an independent thinker. You got to be the type of person that don't follow. You are independent and you lead your own life. Nobody's got to lead it for you. So I already know that. So regardless of what you into, it don't matter. It's irrelevant. If you're on my page and you fully are cognizant of what I'm sharing with you, you're going to take off. Just like I did. You're going to take off. You're not going to play with this. But there will be those that are kind of hang out. And I know that. And I basically asked them to get off my page. Because now, when I get a friend request, I'll actually take the time to go in and screen and see what they got going on in their life. If they got all this nonsense going on, and they got weapons in their hands, and they got the fiat and doing this and all that, and everything is sexual, and everything is all about making that dollar and all that. That type of person won't do well on my page. They're probably just going to kind of hang out, and they're not going to get the message, and there's no time for that. There's just no time for it. So I will not accept a person's friend request like that. And a lot of these requests that got no photo in it, I can't even see you. You're sending me a friend request, but you ain't even got no picture on. I don't even know who you are. I don't know you. And when I scroll through, it's got like one little post in there. One. If that. Some don't even have that. And some fictitious name. So, I mean, why are you sending me a friend request like that? Why would you do that? This is an esoteric order. Really. And I've been doing this for such a long time now. I'm very casual with it, even though I'm strict. I'm very serious about it, but I'm very casual. Like right now, I'm still in bed. I had to put on something, folks, to do this video. But still, I try to keep it simple. Even being esoteric, things that are hidden, it don't have to be complicated. It's not meant to be complicated. You just got to do the work. That's all. But don't be fooled. And nationality begins with you knowing that you're more. You're born one. You're born one. And just like in Georgia House Resolution 1203, where it says the Moorish Americans whose ancient forefathers are the mothers and fathers of the human family, that's a hint. That's to tell you, stop pointing fingers at people that don't look like you. Because you had a role in that, Moors. This is ancestral DNA you carrying. So you're responsible. That covenant still stands. So just because a person has lighter skin than you and they don't look like you and they may they're behaving a certain way or very negative towards you, because of social engineering and different things, don't hate them because you're under covenant. You are. Those are your children. The Europeans, the Caucasians, yes, talking about them. Those are your children. Be nice to them. They don't know. If they knew, they wouldn't act like that. They were misled too, and they got to know as well. So don't point fingers at them, and when they act up, they're doing it out of ignorance and fear. So don't play with that. Don't get yourself caught up in that. That's a karmic debt that's been going on for such a long time that now it's up to us to break the cycle because we're breathing. We're here. We have now incarnated again to try to get this thing right again. Every generation, the earth will do that. It produces more to try to get this thing right. What we waiting on? Because they tried to pump us up and vaccinate us and give us poisonous food and poison the air and poison the water to try and slow that thing down so you don't wake up. Well, they couldn't stop it. Because if you're like me, you're wide awake. You're wide awake. Even when you're sleeping, you're wide awake. So they couldn't hide. They couldn't stop it. How do you stop the cosmos from doing what it's going to do? As above, so below. That's the law of correspondence. It is immutable and cannot be changed. That is the law itself. So what they tried to slow down and prevent didn't work. So how you get busy is enforcing the law within yourself and knowing thyself. If you're more, this is why Noble Drew Ali lost his life, because he gave us this knowledge of nationality, and Charles Mosley Bay took it to the next level and said, you better know that zodiac if you're going to know thyself. And this is what Pharaoh Akhenaten taught when he swept through Kemet and said, you're going to stop this nonsense. Yeah. But you're all tied to that. Ham and Kush, you're tied to that. And I'm forever grateful to them. Forever grateful. But folks, we got to get this thing right. All right? And peace and love to everyone. Keep studying. Change your behavior. Act as nobles at all times. Don't play with this. You are of a royal stock. When I say royal stock, you're of a royal stock. Noble Drew Ali himself said, you Moors are just plain rich. What did he mean? What did he mean by that when he said that? You Moors are just plain rich. Well, look at the history. Because knowledge is wealth to me. Not just the tangible, but the tangible is nice. The gold and silver and everything else, the land and all that. That's nice. For me, it's the knowledge. Because with the knowledge, I have all that. And not only will I know how to obtain the tangible, the physical, the material, I'll know how to keep it as well. Because what good is having a lot of stuff if you ain't got good sense? What good is it? If you are buck wild and act a fool and out of control and got all kind of vices and habits and everything else, what good is material wealth if you are just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? What good is it? And I know a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. What good is wealth and having nice things and a big home and a fancy car if you are miserable? You could care less about anybody or anyone, including yourself. Care less. Come on. What good is it? So everybody trying to get that dollar. Everybody chasing that dollar. Well, that dollar that you're chasing is fiat currency. It has no value. It was actually created to mislead you and deceive you and keep you as chattel property so they could steal from you on the back end. In the front, they make you think you got money. On the back end, they know it's not money because they printed it, they made it, and they know you don't read. So, like I always say, if it's not tangible, if I can't touch it, if it ain't gold and silver, it ain't money. That's the law. That's as per the supreme law of the land. Article 1, Section 10. So, why are you breaking your back for something that don't exist? I know you still got to eat. You still got, yeah, but back in the day, if you wanted to eat, you had to grow your food. That's why land is important to a Moor. Because you ain't got to depend on nobody to live. You don't. That's the job of the grand sheiks and the sheiks that are over the nation, to show the people that don't know how to be independent thinkers and how to be on their own and stand on their own 2 feet under their own vine and fig tree. It's not to manipulate them and make them follow a doctrine or a teaching and be slaves under another umbrella. It's not to do that. That's not why you're a grand sheik and a sheik. Your job is to assist the people so they can be themselves. And that's it. That's the job of the grand sheik. Giving you knowledge, showing you things that you don't know so you can become a majority and stand on your own. You are all reflections of the great I am. We all are. You must think for yourself. If you don't know how to think, you train yourself how to think. And be done with it. It's not complicated. Don't make it complicated. And don't make nationality complicated. There's going to be a lot of charlatans out there, if you're new to this knowledge, that's going to try and milk you for your fiat. Don't play with people. Nationality begins with you knowing in your mind, heart, and soul, I'm a Moor. Look in the mirror. Look at your complexion. If you dark skinned, if you got kinky hair, you got the wide nose, the brown eyes, all that in a bag of chips, all of that. If you got all that, you're a Moor. There's a distinct phenotype of the Moors. You can't miss it. Because the pigmentation of their skin is going to give it away. The melanin. So Moors, come on. You ain't got a piece of paper don't make you a Moor. Because you are a Moor. You were just tricked into believing that you were something else. Negro, black, colored, African American. That's nonsense. Because that's a stateless person. There's no nation of Negroes. And Noble Drew Ali said that. So that's why I tell people, read Circle 7, Chapter 47. Read Georgia House Resolution 1203. Read it. There's nothing spooky about it. So come on, all right? Keep it simple, folks. Keep it simple. If you're new to this knowledge, welcome. I congratulate you. That means that you're waking up. But keep it simple, folks. There's a lot of stuff going out there to keep you distracted and keep you stuck in dogma and keep you praying. Why are you going to pray outside of yourself? Why would you do that? You are a reflection of the great I am. Your heartbeat, the blood that flows through you, is connected to the cosmos. That's how it works. So come on. All right? Keep it simple. It's not complicated. And the universe is in position to work with you. All of us. The universe has now positioned itself. This Saturn-Pluto conjunction that occurred on the 12th is long-lasting. It's going to take several months for them slow-moving planets to move. So, just because it happened, it just actually went to zero. It just midpoint on the 12th. But Saturn and Pluto are slow-moving planets, and they are not in a rush to go anywhere. And under the sidereal zodiac in the east, we just now entered Capricorn. But under the tropical in the west, we came out of Capricorn and went into Aquarius. But there was an overlap with the tropical and the sidereal zodiac. There was an overlap. So theirs actually began on the 15th of January. And under the tropical, it left the sign of Capricorn on the 21st, the 20th of the 21st. So there was a gap in between where they both overlapped, both zodiacs that are observed on the planet. So that's why I tell you, now the covenant has been sealed now. Noble Drew Ali made his solar return in the sign of Capricorn. His ruling planet is Saturn. He transitioned on a Saturday, July 20th, 1929, on a Saturday. He made his solar return on a Friday. Do the homework. Look up the dates, you'll see. So wherever Saturn is in your chart, whenever you see Saturn move in the heavens, you got to be paying attention to that as Moors who study and Moors that know the zodiac. All right? You got to know this, folks. You should be paying attention. The Moors were the master astrologers, master masons. A mason is a messenger. Messen. M-E-S-S-E-N. Messen. Messenger. There are many definitions, but you look in the clocks of destiny, Charles Mosby tells you the definition. And a mason is a messenger. And a mason is going to be one that is connected. A good mason, a true mason, a divine mason is a mason that is attached and connected with the cosmos. And they're not going to play with law. Any type of fraud or any type of nonsense going on, they're going to nip that quick. They're not going to play with this. A mason knows. And Noble Drew Ali and Charles Mosby Bey were 360 degrees straight up. So your job is to mimic that and stand in law and truth. And law is not complicated. That's why I tell you all study natural law first so you understand jurisprudence. You can't stand on common law. You have no idea what natural law is. So get your Hermeticas. Get your Kabbalions. All right? So Moors, peace and love to you, everyone. I got to get my day started. And if you have requested a natal chart reading, right now I'm still doing them on my own. I am going to start reaching out. I know I've said this, but it takes time. I've got to trust other people who may not be in my area, in the Portland area. So if you're at a distance and I reach out to you to assist with the work that I do for the nation and for the Esoteric Moors Illuminated Temple, you know, you got to be on point. You got to be on point. Because when I read what Noble Drew Ali had done with the Moorish Science Temple and how they treated him, and then people turned on him, folks. After all that he had done to bring the people this knowledge and do the work and take the time to show the people how to have a regimen and nationality, and they turned on him, folks. They turned on him, and they tried to cause him injury before they killed him. So what does that tell you about our people? What does it really tell you? I'm not saying that to be mean or anything or to point fingers. I'm just saying if they did that to Noble Drew Ali, they did it to Yeshua, and they did it to Pharaoh Akhenaten. And they vilified Lord Enki as well. Come on. So what you think they're going to try to do to you with this knowledge? So I got to trust you if I'm going to have you delve into the business of the nation. I got to be able to trust you. And I'm not gonna play. I'll look in your eye, and I will read your natal chart and see what kind of traits you got. That'll tell me right off the bat. I don't know how Noble Drew Ali did, how he set up the organization, how he did his adepts and stuff. Because like I said, there were 5 adepts that studied with Noble Drew Ali. 5. Out of that 5, only 1 remained faithful to the teachings and the science Noble Drew Ali taught in the adept chamber, and that was Charles Mosley Bey. He was the only one out of that 5. Daddy Grace, Prophet Divine, Prophet Cherry, Elijah Muhammad, all went out on their own and started their own organizations, and they did not teach the people they were Moors. And that was nationality and knowing that you're a Moor was Noble Drew Ali's biggest pet peeve. And he taught that to his adepts in the adept chamber especially. Especially that. But out of that 5 adepts that he taught in that adept chamber, only 1 remained faithful and stuck with the science. 1. That was Charles Mosley Bey. Why do you think I talk about Charles Mosley Bey so much? Why do you think I put emphasis on the clocks of destiny? Why do you think I do that? So people could call me crazy all they want. They could say what they want. I know I'm on point. I've done my natal chart. I look at the history in my life. I look at what I've been through and what I've suffered through. And I look at everything that's going on and I match it up with law and truth. I know I'm on point. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone or special or whatever how a person may want to call it. I know the last prophet is Noble Drew Ali. He brought us knowledge so that we can think and stand on our own 2 feet. It was not to subjugate us and put us back into slavery by giving us dogma. Praise the Father God. Please save that for somebody who cares. You got to know the truth. You got to know the truth, folks. So peace and love to everyone. And whatever I share with you, I hope that is helpful to you. It's to get you to think, not to follow. It's to get you to think, not to follow. Oh, we've done that. Come out of that mindset. That's all. Just to get you to think and then go on about your merry business. Go about your way. Do what you got to do. Now that you know, put it into action. Because once you learn, you put it into action. All right? So peace and love to everyone. Do something good for yourself and do something good for someone else. All right? Act as nobles at all times. You never know who's watching. All right? So peace and love to you. Till next time.